We are back on the Focus RS in today's video, guys, and hopefully I've got some parts that have turned up so we can crack on, and I'm hoping also a few more parts turn up during this video as well so we can get some a good amount of things done. So don't forget to like and subscribe if you like these type of videos, guys, and the car, and also follow me on Instagram at saving_salvage. I'm doing a lot, well, I'm trying to do a lot more on Instagram as well, so there will be stuff on there that you may not see on the channel. So if things may not make sense here, it's because I've put it on Instagram, so go and follow me on there as well. So the first thing that we need to do, I wasn't really happy driving it with a bent steering arm, so I may, do I see if I can swap it here outside? Is it that bad? I mean, it's quite visibly not pointing straight ahead, is it? Don't upset the car, so I'm going to change the steering arm here on the ground. So might as well crack on and do that first. And while we're doing that, we'll stick the battery in charge because let's be honest, it is going to be very flat. So I thought this was going to be a nice easy job, which is why I tried to do it outside. I thought it'd be wheel off, undo the track rod end nut, undo the inner tie rod, take it out, put the new one in, do it all back up, easy peasy. But if you can see in there, the tie rod end is right in there behind the chassis, and I just could not get access to it with anything. And I think you need a special tool to undo it as well, and you just couldn't do it. So I had to adjust it just so I could get it into the workshop. So it looks like I'm going to fail at the first hurdle. So after doing a little bit of research, it turns out you need a special tool to remove that, because unlike the new one which I have here, which is a genuine part, it has a cutout here to fit a 32mm spanner over so you can tighten and loosen it, whereas the original one is completely smooth and has nothing. So I can't actually get anything on it. The only thing I can do is get some like mole grips or a different type of wrench to get on it, but I just cannot get it undone, which is very frustrating. And also I don't want to flex or bend the rack either. So apparently after doing a little bit of research, people remove the wishbone to get a little bit more purchase on it, and I can't do that on the ground, so we need to get it on a ramp, which is very annoying. So as a temporary fix, I've actually compensated for this being bent. I've actually unwound the tie rod end a little bit to push it out a little bit, which should then at least straighten up the steering some. So yeah, quick little fix so we can, oh bloody yeah, we'll put a tyre there. Quick little fix so we can get into the workshop without causing too much stress. But before we get into the workshop, I want to do a bit of painting actually. So let me go and show you the parts that I've bought that requires painting. And here it is, my new top lock carrier. And as you can see, the old one was in green. The new one, although they're plastic, it came body colored. This doesn't look like something that would normally be painted, but because the original one's painted, I think I'm probably best just to paint this one as well, just to make it look like it's factory. So you can see here the part that was broken on the old one, look, all this corner section here, which is nice and new on that one. So I have actually bought some ultimate green paint, so I'm going to do it myself. It doesn't need to be anything special. I'm just going to base coat it, and I don't even know if this has got any, oh I think it's got, yeah, it does have some lacquer on it. So I'll put a quick layer of lacquer over it as well, and hopefully it will turn out looking just like that. And the other part I need to body colour as well. Got my little box of parts here. It was my little bracket here. So this was also ultimate green, so I'm going to paint that along with it. Now I've changed my mind, I'm going to get the RS in first because I've got to do a little bit of welding to weld that panel on the side which supports the top slam panel and also the headlights, so I probably should do that first. So car drove much nicer with the steering slightly, well, more center anyway. So the plan of action now would be to get rid of all this here, and we need to weld this bracket on, which goes something like that. So we need to be able to weld that on, straighten all other parts out that are bent, and then we'll have to spray paint. I'll probably do it all at once. So I'll master the car up, paint the bit of the chassis that needs painting, and then paint the front lock carrier at the same time. I don't know if I've showed you, I don't believe I have yet, but I do have a box of aircon pipes and an air dryer, and I also have this bracket here with a complete power steering pump as well off an ST, which I believe should all be the same. There you go, there's that bracket there. The pump should be in the bottom, and also a box of full aircon pipes as well. They were pretty cheap for the whole, literally every single aircon pipe, so that should sort me out lovely. And I also definitely need a new battery as well. It won't even take a charge, so I'll have to keep using the jump pack. And if I take the jump pack off, it literally cuts out as well, so definitely need a new battery too. So let's start things off. We'll get this wheel off, get it up in the air a little bit more, and try and disconnect the aircon pipes and this whole steering pump as well. Hopefully I don't lose too much fluid. And we might have to move the coolant bottle and reservoir out the way too. So now I need to remove all the damaged parts on the chassis that I don't need, and that includes the steering pump with a big bracket here, which is all completely bent and twisted. We have aircon pipes and aircon dryer, and we have this pipe here that feeds from the bulkhead, and you can see it goes right around the back, past the coolant tank and into the bulkhead there. We need to remove that completely because that is bent and twisted. And then we have our main chassis bracket, this thin bit of metal here that we're going to replace. We need to hammer that into as best original shape as I can, just to make sure it bends everything into the right direction before I then drill out the spot welds to remove it completely. So after drilling out all those spot welds, the bracket came off. Wasn't too bad in the end, to be honest. Aircon pipe, not too bad either. So now I've just got to concentrate on straightening up the little bits of metal that we need to weld to. This shouldn't be an issue because they're all quite thin bits of metal, so they should be easily manipulated into position, and then we can weld our new bracket into place. So that's the next plan. So all that ended up going really well, ended up getting everything perfectly straight. Even this I managed to get perfectly straight again, along with all my tabs. Look, everything is back to exactly a factory spec. And luckily I had a nice guide because I had the other side here to basically get the shape from. So I've test fitted the little panel. And it all fits up. Lovely, look. So I'm now gonna tack weld it into place, or before I do that, I'm gonna clean up all this area here. I'm gonna put some weld through primer on, tack it into place, just make sure everything's good, and then we'll weld it in properly and then paint it green. So slight update, I've covered the whole car off, ready for painting and welding. You can see I've literally just cut out an area where I don't want to get overspray. So everything's all cleaned up, ready to go. I just need to sand back a little bit more here and a little bit more here as well. Clean this area up, and then I've already primed I've used weld through primer on the parts that are going to be welded to the chassis. So we then weld that on, and then once it's all on and properly, I'll then prime the whole thing, and then we'll give it a layer of ultimate green and then a layer of lacquer. So I'm just going to time lapse the whole process because it's going to be a bit fiddly. I'm going to get dirty, so I don't want to keep having to stop. So yeah, I'm just going to put it on a nice time lapse, and hopefully it will be nice and green at the end of it. So there we go, bracket all now welded in, primed, painted and clear coated in. It's quite hard to get the desired finish because this is a rough paint anyway. Look, for an example, look, I mean, they haven't painted it very well. I think they've probably even painted it with the wing already on possibly. So it's a rough finish to start with. So trying to match that was quite difficult. I think I've done it all right. It seems to be a little bit darker actually, but although I'm happy with the end results and it looks pretty much factory along with the other side as well. So yeah, really happy with how that's in, nice and solid. And I've also painted, there's a mess in there again now, so I need to tidy up once it's all, once I've got it all sorted out. But painted this as well, top carrier. Again, I've tried to make it factory. So the factory one, they haven't even painted under here. So I've tried not to the same way, just to try and make it as factory as possible. But yeah, that's all done as well, looking good. So now I need to get my box of new aircon pipes, get those wired up, and also my steering pump as well, get that all wired in properly as well. So I've just been playing around test fitting, everything going well so far, power steering pump and AC dryer all in position. Everything bolts up nicely, got my AC dryer pumped, connected now to the main car, so that's good. Only downside I've noticed is all my AC pipes that I bought were obviously from a pre-facelift car, which apparently they are slightly different. So frustratingly, the AC pipe that goes from here into the bulkhead is slightly different. So I've had to, luckily it was only 30 quid, I managed to buy a facelift pipe which will then connect that up, but I can't do that for now. But yeah, looking good over here. So let's just turn our attention to the top slam. You can actually tell, I don't know if it's just, no, they are a very slightly different colour. Now I don't know if it's because I only put the base coat on that without any mid. So I don't know if that lightens it up or not, but yeah, it's just ever so slightly different. I don't think it's going to make much difference. I mean, you won't see it anyway, but I don't think it'll make much difference once it's on the car. But for now, I need to swap all the bits over that are working. So we've got our lock, little scoop here. I need to put some tape over these bits by the looks of it. Headlight washer, and then there's also the power steering reservoir, which is actually pop riveted on. So I'm gonna have to just drill that out and pop rivet onto the new one. So there's a few rubber grommets I've got to transfer over as well. So once we've swapped all the parts over, we need to remove the crash bar because it's got the 2 bolts on the back of it that make it really difficult to do in situ. So you have to remove the crash bar, get the lock carrier back on, and then refit it back in. It's quite hard to do because you've got your intercooler and radiator just swinging in the wind because the lock carrier actually support them from the top. So trying to get it all lined up and secure is quite difficult. We're nearly there, I've just got a few bolts left, but I found a bit of a problem on this side. And as I was trying to bolt up the carrier here, I just noticed that the wing bracket was hitting on this little bit here, which I couldn't really work out, look, how it works. There's nowhere for it to tuck in. So I just thought I'd look at the old one. And yeah, the old one doesn't actually have it. You can see where it was, so I'm guessing for the RS they have to cut this bit off. Guessing it's something to do with the wing that's different to the ST. So it's the same on this side as well. So I'm going to try and cut it off with a little hacksaw in situ and do the same with the other side because, yeah, obviously don't need them. Well, that's the bonnet all in position, so just checking lines. Really frustratingly this morning, I forgot to bring the damaged wing from home so I could just test fit it and just make sure my gaps are fine. Really annoying, but it's done now, I forgot it. But lines are looking really good, look, absolutely spot on down this side and the same with this side as well. So all we need is just a bit of a bonnet repair here and then with the wing on and this pulled up a little bit, that will sit just a bit more flush and match the other side, but the inside part of the headlight is both spot on. So I've just connected my bonnet latch up, so hopefully this actually works. I'm good for that. So yeah, I've just done a classic, fit the whole front end, forgot I left my jump pack on. So here's my red positive lead, which is now trapped. Ain't fitting through that gap at all. So I'm now left with the prospect of, do I take the whole front end back off or do I just cut the cable? I mean, cut it. I could just uncrimp it. Probably gonna do that if I'm honest. But first of all, I have a new battery to fit because this one is completely knackered because I want to test to make sure this headlight all works and the power steering pump as well, although I don't have any fluid, so I do need to go out and buy some fluid. But all this is all attached as well, bonnet stand as well, all my connections, my coolant lines, all good as well. I just need to plumb this bit together, and yeah, looking good. So I just tried to fit the battery. I put the reg into Halfords because I have a Halfords local to me and I can just go pick them up. It's just easy to do that instead of ordering online and waiting a few days. Put my reg into Halfords. It told me what battery I needed, so I went and picked it up. And yeah, it's too big. Thank you very much. Doesn't fit, so I'm gonna have to go back and get the smaller one. But I've just used my jump pack for the moment. Absolute result. Headlights all work, and if I'm honest, I didn't know when I bought this headlight, because it was so cheap, well I think it's cheap anyway, I think it's about 150 quid, I'll put the price up now, but not only does it come with the ballasts, it's also come with all the bulbs, xenon bulbs as well. So it's literally just plug and play, and it's all working absolutely spot on. Just tested the indicator as well, that is all good. So yeah, headlight, absolute result, and yeah, really happy with the progress so far. So now we get to tackle that steering arm again. With it in the air, it's just so much easier. I've already removed my wishbone, as you can see, swinging down now, and that just gave me so much more access. And in the end, I just used a couple of mole grips and got it off really easily. Now we need to take off our track rod end off the old one, because we will need that to fit onto the new tie rod. And what I've done here is I've kind of guessed for the moment. It does need tracking properly, but I've just guessed using the thread count about where the steering angle should go. So try and get it as straight as I can, but ultimately it will need tracking at some point. So I've just got the engine running to bleed the power steering, and I don't know what the level actually is, but I'm just pouring fluid in until it doesn't keep taking it, basically. So I started off really stiff, and I think it's getting better now. Yes, it's definitely getting there. Just need to keep working it, keep bleeding all the air out of the system. Get some more in there, so I'm going to get that, I'll find the level, get that topped up right, and there we can have a quick overview of what we've done so far. And there we go, we've had a nice little tidy up as well. Definitely didn't put too much power steering fluid in, and then when I turned the engine off it came out the top, so forget about that. But really happy with the progress today. We can see the lines here, the bonnet isn't fully shut, but we can see the lines here, look. Identical each side. I mean, even the headlights have still got a little bit of adjustment once we get the bumper on as well, but yeah, they're pretty much spot on. I haven't had to do anything, I've just put it in position. Everything, so my top panel here lined straight up. The bonnet does need a repair here. Really annoying, I forgot that wing. But yeah, we can see this is the bracket that I replaced. And I'll stand by what I said, it just shouldn't have been a Cat S with that tiny little bracket. You can see down here, our power steering pump, all on there. AC dryer, that's all on. And everything's now bolted up properly. So like not mechanically, structurally, bodily, the car is done, apart from, I say bodily, no, you know, the crash damage is complete, apart from just putting the front bumper back on, putting that new wing on, which will be repaired and painted, and then smart repair on the door, so it'll get blended anyway. So there's just a slight little crease on the door there, look, and one there. So they'll get repaired once the wing gets painted, so that'll blend in nicely as well, because I've heard that Ultimate Green's quite a hard colour to blend. So luckily the bonnet needs painting here anyway as well, so that should do nicely. So what have we got left? So yeah, the steering arm's done as well. The bent one's around here somewhere, so you can just see how bent that was. So we've got steering wheel airbag, so the interior basically. I've got the steering wheel airbag. I've bought a dash. I've just got to collect it. That should be that done. Once I've bled all the steering, power steering worked fine. What else have we got? I've ordered a new washer bottle, because this one you can see is slightly damaged, and I think it's pushed back or I unbolted it, and it's come away here. So the good news is this whole bottle comes with a headlight washer system as well, because the old this top bit here, which is broken, the washer line came across, but it actually cut off here and it was missing. So that was part that was missing. So I needed that whole line as well. So I've just bought a whole washer system, which has the bottle as well. So that will be replaced. I need, I think, a fog light, because I believe Don't think my new bumper has fog lights in. No, it doesn't. So yeah, I'm gonna need a fog light. And then I need this little end cap trim here that goes there at the bottom, and then obviously the windscreen replaced. And I think that's pretty much it. And yeah, wheel arch liner. So there's a few things to go still, but the main issue of the car, the main damage, has now been repaired. So yeah, I'm gonna leave it there in today's video, guys. As I said, really happy with the progress. And in the next video, it should just be hopefully getting this thing onto the road and pretty much complete, bar probably the paint. So I'll try and get the old wing on, the damaged wing, just to make sure everything's fine. And then it'll just literally need painting after that. But I'm hoping the next one we can get it all pretty much wrapped up. So as always, guys, thank you very much for watching. I hope you did enjoy this video. Please do subscribe if you're not already, and follow me on Instagram at saving_salvage. Next video will probably be the R8, and then we're going to be back on the Cayman GT4, and then we'll get the Focus RS in between as well. Cheers, guys.